Hello. Hey guys, this is Tawana from Mom's Guide to Travel. And hey, what's up, Celie? Thank you for joining me, love. That is my book, Mom's Guide to Saving Money on Family Travel. Hey, Mickey Stewart, how are you? Thanks for joining. And if you are watching the replay, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. If you guys hear a lot of noise, that that's my two boys that sound like a herd of elephants. They're just stomping around. It's after school. It's 5 o'clock. I'm playing around with the times that I'm scoping, but I want to get it in and be consistent with Periscope. Periscope with purpose. Yes, trying to be consistent. So, hey, Kenton, thanks for joining. So today I'm going to talk to you with my tutorial about how to fly for free and just share with you some tips and tricks and my experience today, because you know what, it's always good to share your personal experiences with people so that they can learn from it, you can learn from it. So I'm just going to get started. And other than being a travel influencer, whether that's a travel blogger or travel writer, sometimes we do get to fly for free, just depending on who our clients are and who we're working with. But quite honestly, thank you for the hearts. I appreciate that. Quite honestly, I do pay for some of my travel because it might be a destination that I want to go to, and depending on my contract, that might not be a part of the agreement. But yes, if you are a travel influencer, a travel blogger or travel writer, that is a good way to be able to fly for free. Become a travel blogger or travel writer and be really good at it. Hey, April, thanks for the hearts, guys. So that's an easy way. But let me tell you, hey, sweetie, let me tell you the way that most people are able to fly for free. And I know that some of you in here have done it yourself, and there are people that are big time hackers, but the average American is not going to be a hacker like that, where they are opening 4 and 5 credit cards at once in order to get the 50,000, 75,000, 100,000 miles. That's not going to be the average American's behavior. So this is for the average American. If you're a pro at that, this isn't the scope for you. I'm trying to teach people how to get started. So, let me tell you a little bit about my experience. The different airlines are so different when it comes to claiming your flights, your free flights. And yes, I know. So that's you. Well, the thing about it is that most people don't like to open credit cards, but credit cards are one of the fastest ways to get points, to accumulate points in order for you to get free tickets. I'll give you a case in point. When I joined with Southwest credit card, it was I can't remember, I think it was Chase card at the time, and at the time it was like 50,000. It was either 50,000 or 60,000 rewards points for getting this particular credit card. Obviously your credit has to be good enough for you to be able to get the credit card. Now, with Southwest, my experience has been with that card, with those 50,000 points, which I was able to get once you sign up, and then you have 2 months to 2 or 3 months. I'm sorry, 3 months to spend $2,000. Now, just depending on your spending habits, it's fairly easy to spend $2,000 in 3 months. You charge it to your card, you pay it off, boom, you're done. You get your 50,000 points. What you have to remember when you're looking at some of these cards is what's their annual fee, what are their interest rates, and how much you need to spend in order to get those points. And I'll tell you what I was able to get with those 50,000 points. I was able to get 2 round trip tickets for my boys to fly with me for a job that I had in Texas. And I was also able to get myself a round trip ticket to Costa Rica. And I still have points left over. What I like about Southwest is that and I'm going to show you their interface online. Thank you for the hearts. That makes me feel like you guys like what I'm saying, so I appreciate that. And that you understand what I'm saying too. So what I like about Southwest, if you go to Southwest's website, and let's just take a look at their website right here. I'm going to show it to you so that you know what I mean about the interface. This is Southwest's website, okay? So even if you don't have an account, or you're just shopping around trying to see how you would book flights with them, oops, gosh, dollars versus points. You can look at the points, see how many points you need. So for instance, if I need to fly my mother-in-law here. So sometimes I will use my points to fly my mother-in-law to come see us. So if she's leaving from, I'll just put in Charleston to Baltimore. What's this? BWI. And these are the dates that she's coming. And I put here points, okay, versus dollars. Now I can see how many points it's going to take to get her here, okay? So, and then it'll tell you which sometimes it takes more points than others. But on this particular day, because it's a Saturday, it's 10,477 points. And then here's the same here on this day, which is a Sunday, 7,417 points. So now I know how many points I'm going to have to use, hey Rosie, in order to get her here for a free ticket. 17,894 points. And I can't remember how many points I have. And this is, hey sweetie, how are you? And this is all I have to pay in taxes, $11.20. You guys see that? So this flight will only cost me $11.20 for a round trip ticket from Charleston to Baltimore, Maryland. Okay. So with Southwest, one, I love their interface. Two, I love that the taxes aren't very high. And the taxes, it really depends on where you are flying because every destination isn't the same. Some destinations, the taxes are more expensive. So the first tip that I have for you is to, one, choose an airline that you really like. So think about the destinations that you frequent or the destinations that you would like to frequent and decide, look and see which airline, which is at your home airport, the closest airport to you, that flies to that destination that you normally frequent or those destinations that you would like to frequent. Choose that airline and stick to it, because sometimes what we do is we look for the cheapest flight all the time. And in the long run, it doesn't really serve you because then you never get to accumulate points. And I did that for years where I was like, oh, I'm just going to go with the cheapest flight. Whereas, it might have been a $10, $15, $20 difference. And if I just stayed and just paid, that little bit of a difference, then I would have had a lot more points with one particular airline. So the airlines that I do domestically, for the most part, whether I'm flying myself or someone's flying me, I do request that they either put me on Southwest, because it is more affordable for them too sometimes, or they put me on American Airlines. So Southwest and American Airlines are the two domestic airlines that I fly the most. And now that Southwest flies to the Caribbean, ciao, exactly, I am all over that. So, you need to go check out Southwest. I mean, I know I'm pumping them, but I like them because I'm not being paid by them, but I like them because, one, they've extended and expanded the destinations that they fly to, and their taxing is really, really low when you're going to redeem those points. And then they don't have those blackout dates like some of the other airlines have. So Southwest, a round trip ticket from Baltimore to Charleston to Baltimore, $11.20. That's it, if you have enough points to book with Southwest Airlines. Now, my international airline is British Airways. British Airways because, one, they're in the alliance with American Airlines, but two, because I'm always flying to London and I prefer to fly them to London. I've just flown them more than I've flown any other airline. This is the caveat about British Airways, and this is what I want to tell you about my experience. So we're still on tip one, which is choose an airline that you like and stick with that airline and create loyalty and increase your frequent flyer points. British Airways. So I was looking for a flight to London end of this month into November. I had enough points, which is 26,000, which isn't a lot, 26,000 points round trip, right? I had enough points to get that flight. Well, actually, I was 70 points short from that flight. So I said, you know what? Let me buy the difference in the points. It's called Avios points. So the difference was only 70 points. So they told me, okay, well, they sell it in packets of 1,000, in denominations of 1,000 points. And it was going to cost me 31 pounds, which is like about $47. No problem. So I was like, okay, if it's only going to cost me $47.50, and he said plus the taxes and fees, I was like, okay, that's better, because the ticket was retailing. It's retailing for $845 for the dates that I want, which isn't that bad. I usually have to pay between that and like $1,100 for this ticket for a nonstop flight. Once he looked to see what the taxes and fees were, what do you think the taxes and fees were? I would love for you guys to just throw some numbers in the box, especially those of you who have experiences with cashing in your points. Please just tell me what you think. $200 taxes and fees. Okay, keep going. I'm going to let you know who's closest. Ding, ding, ding. I might send you a gift, whoever, figures this out. $1,000. Okay, a little lower than that. Okay, I'm not going to wait for you guys. It was, the taxes and fees came up to $694, close, exactly. $694.21 for taxes and fees. So I would have had to use my points plus paid $694.21 in taxes and fees, in addition to the $47.50 to make up the difference in the points. No. Because that would have came out to $743, just about $742 for that ticket. Exactly. Wrong move. You don't do that. You don't use all of your points that you've accumulated and then go on top of it and spend $730 something for the ticket, when you can just go ahead and get the retail ticket for $845. It's not a smart move for using your points. So that's why you have to take your time out to get on the phone, to talk to someone, to make sure you understand the program and that you don't just jump on their website and go and use your points. That's something that you don't want to do, because now you've wasted your points. So then my next question was, well, what can I do with these points? The thing about Avios points is that all of your points are with JetBlue. Okay, great. And that's because you probably fly JetBlue a lot. And JetBlue is probably like Southwest, where redeeming points isn't as difficult and they don't charge you a lot for taxes. The reason why the taxes are so high with British Airways is because, one, it's an international flight, and London is one of the most expensive airlines to fly into, expensive airports to fly into. So you just paid, I would have to pay over $700 in taxes and fees for a plane ticket that I should be getting for free because I have the points to qualify me for it. So what was explained to me was that within Europe, the points it would not be as many points depending on where I was flying, what airport I was flying to. So you really need to make sure that sometimes you cannot get all your answers on the internet. Make sure you get on the phone and ask them how much points it's going to take you to be able to get an international flight for free, and then how much the taxes, what it's going to cost you in taxes. And that's, that'll be a good way for you to determine, hey, you know what, do I want to go with this airline or do I want to go with another airline? So I also have points with American Airlines, and so they're in the same alliance with each other. So I'm going to determine whether I'm just going to move my Avios points over to American Airlines if it's going to cost me, $700. The only time that something like that would make sense is if maybe the ticket it's like a $2,000, $3,000 ticket. Otherwise that doesn't make any sense for a ticket. If I pay out of pocket, it's only going to be $150 difference. So I might just move those British Airways points over to American Airlines, since I have American Airlines points as well, and just do several U.S. continental trips for free. So first thing, choose that airline. So moral of that story is I'm paying out of pocket for my London ticket. In addition, they also didn't have my dates, which is different from Southwest. Remember what I told you? Southwest, you don't have to worry about that with the dates. And I'm sure JetBlue is the same. If that's the same for you, Jewel, I love for you to say yes or no. That's just your experience as well. Thank you for the chocolate hearts and the gold hearts and, the purple hearts that you all gave me. I appreciate that. But if you have an experience, everyone, I'd love for you to also type, it is your same experience. Exactly. So you have to determine who's at your airport and flies the most to different destinations. And then you go with that airline and you see what blackout dates they have. Because if they have like blackout dates, because they wanted me to fly the 6th to I'm sorry, what was it? It was the 26th through the 7th. And I didn't want to do the 26th to the 7th. You're with Delta, Renee? Okay, so what's your experience been like? Have they been pretty easy with you cashing in your points and you not having to pay a lot in taxes or blackout dates? I'd love to know what your experience has been like. So you guys, oh, Jill says, hey, Renee. So those are some domestic airlines that you can think about. You can think about Southwest, you can think about JetBlue, and you can think about Delta and American, just depending on where you are and where you want to fly to. So then the other tip is, the first thing I said is to choose the airline. The second thing was the fastest way to do it is to get a credit card or a reward card. When you sign up with them, just depending on how you feel about credit, okay? Easy, not a lot of taxes, easy to use. Okay, perfect. See, so that's Renee's experience with Delta. It just depends on which airline you like and what your experience is with them, and what their programs are. Whether they have programs with car companies or because I use Hertz, and with Hertz and my Southwest card, I also get points for my car rental. I also have free car rentals now because of my points that I've accumulated. So I'm always looking at these different elements, which will allow me to travel, as much as I'd like and take my family as well. And they have ways to earn points with other airlines and hotels. Exactly. That's a good point, is that when you book with hotels and you have any of these rewards cards, again, thank you for the hearts, and you have any of these reward cards, that's another way for you to earn some points, is to book your hotel with that card or to book your car with that card. In many cases, it's 1-to-1. Southwest, it's 1-to-1 on purchases, regular purchases. When you book with Southwest flight, it's 2-to-1. And I believe she lives in Atlanta. Delta makes sense. Exactly. Delta makes sense because she's in Atlanta and that's their hub. Like Southwest, if you live in Baltimore area, it makes sense because they are just expanding and we're like number 2. I think their second biggest hub outside of Texas. So those are some of the other things that you want to consider. Then the other point about the credit card, the rewards card, is to manage your purchases and your spending with those cards. When you use them, if you decide, hey, I'm going to pay all my expenses with this card, and you are disciplined to pay that card off at the end of the month, because when you don't and you accumulate fees and, what you have to pay on interest, it doesn't necessarily make sense. The price of the ticket is what you're going to wind up paying in your fees and your interest rates. So you got to make sure that you're smart with your spending on that. But, so get a credit card, get a rewards card that will allow you to rack up points very quickly, B, give you an opportunity to, get free flights or free hotel stays or free cars. Make sure that you really are kind of looking at those credit cards, check their interest rates. Yes, you should buy your flights with your card at every opportunity that you can, because you usually get like 2-to-1 so if your flight is $500, and that's like 1,000 points or just depends on what you are, 3-to-1. So you want to compare different cards to see which one works for you. Now the hackers, the sort of like free flight hackers, those people will open 3 and 4 credit cards at a time, or they will, close a card after a month just to get the points. So 50,000 points, 75,000 points. It depends on whatever the program is that's going on at once. They buy the cards, they make the purchases within the time frame, they get their points, they fly, they use it, they close the card, they go to the next card. That's just full-time work. So, I don't necessarily have time for that, but that's what some people do who just, they fly free all the time. So if you are a business person, business people understand this and know this very well. That's how a lot of them are able to fly free and fly their families for free, because they just make sure that their businesses are booking them on those specific flights, doing the most. Yeah, exactly. So that was number two, is the credit card sign up. And number three, one of the things you might not understand you can do is with some programs, you can combine family points and use them. So with British Airways, with Avios, you can, if my kids, say my kids were flying with me to London, and make sure that you get your kids a card. It's not a credit card, but it's like a get them, like a rapid rewards with Southwest, or whatever it's called with that particular airline, and you make sure that you sign them up too, so that they can also get points, because with some programs you can use family members points, right? So say, we it's like a family trip once to London, and everyone's got points, but I'm the one who flies to London every year. Guess what? I'm taking their points for my flight next year, if it makes sense on the taxes side. We've already determined that it didn't make sense, but if it made sense domestically, that's something that I would do. Now, let me see, are there any other things I wanted to say? I think that's it. Just, there are ways to fly free. It just takes time to be consistent with one airline, one or two airlines, a domestic one, an international one, and just, be faithful to that airline instead of jumping around for the cheapest prices. The other thing is to get a credit card, a reward card that gives you a bunch of reward points once you sign up and do your, spending limit, and pay off that card. And number three, combine your family members' points with your points and get your free ticket. But make sure you do your research, you do due diligence. Fan of Southwest. Some are fans of JetBlue. Some are fans of Delta. Depends on your hub, where you're flying, where you want to go. And then you go from there. All right, guys. I hope this tips tutorial worked for you. And thanks for joining me. Have a good day. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.